You're tuned in to My 95.1 Sports Zone, the podcast for students by students. We're bringing you the latest highlights, hot takes, and behind-the-scenes stories from all things sports right here from the Killeen ISD Career Center. From Friday Night Lights to buzzer beaters and everything in between. If it's KISD Sports, we're talking about it. Let's dive in. David, talk to us about our last game of the week, Shoemaker versus Waco U.
Man, it was an eventful game. At halftime, it was 14-14. I thought we was in for a really good game, and then Shoemaker's run game took off, right? Didn't it, Brandon?
Absolutely. I mean, I was there for like a little bit in the first quarter, then I had to leave. But from what I heard, the running game once again for Shoemaker is just impeccable. Like their running game they're so versatile. That's what I think makes them dangerous. Like that's why I think they're 4-0. I think I believe their passing game, their ability to spread out the field and just open up the running game for their running backs. I think that's what makes them dangerous.
And it kind of like explode later on in the game, because if I'm correct, it was a pretty close. It was like 14-14 at halftime. So.
Yeah, 14-14.
And then to be able to go past that and in the second half just explode for the lead. I mean, they've done that a good amount of times this year, I'm pretty sure.
Against a really good Waco U team. Yeah. Against a really good team. And that's what makes them a really dangerous team, man. Like, they're not just doing this to no inferior opponents. They're doing this to teams that people think can go all the way to state.
But mind you, to start the game, there was 3 touchdowns in the first 40 seconds.
Waco? Of the game?
Of the game. And 3 touchdowns to start the second half. Jamal Polite had a crazy touchdown, started it. Then Marlon Smith, their star guy, got a kick return touchdown. And then Jamal Polite Jr., one-handed catch. And after that, it was all Shoemaker after that. Shoemaker gained all the momentum. They got back down to the run game, make short, intermediate throws when they needed to, and put the game away.
And David and Giovanni, that's the one thing. This is the one thing I really want to touch on. Like, Damani Ellison seems like he's in control of this offense. Like, he knows what Coach Foreman wants, and he does it down to a T.
He hasn't turned the ball over yet. He didn't throw a pick against the no-fly zone. So, I mean, hey.
They were the no-fly zone, and Jamal Polite was one-handed catching them?
3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns. Man, what's your thoughts on that game, Giovanni?
Yeah, Brandon, I wasn't at that game. I believe I was at the Harker Heights and Midlothian game. But from what I saw, I mean, it was, like I said, it was tied end of the first half, and Shoemaker just ran off with it at the end. And that's kind of them just kind of fighting through that adversity again, because it was kind of the same way at the Round Rock game to start off the season. You know, it was close, and then they just run off with it. And they've done that a lot this year, and I'm very excited to see where they're going to end up later on towards the season.
We talk about Shoemaker, but Waco U also didn't just lay down. Savoy Nichols had a pretty decent day. He was under duress a lot. He was running for his life, to be completely honest with you. Marlon Smith proved why he's a 4-star, man. He had 11 catches, over like close to 150 yards and a touchdown, bro, and a kick return touchdown. So he definitely proved why he's committed to Baylor. He got injured towards the end of the game, which put him out. Prayers to him, and hope he can make a smooth recovery. I talked to Coach Foreman after the game. He definitely wasn't pleased with his team's wins. He definitely thought they could have played better in the first half and put a complete game together. Like been to pretty much all Shoemaker's games, they have not put a complete game yet together, and I think that's going to be the real test this week against Temple.
Moving on, guys, I want to talk about Ellison. I thought it was going to be a competitive game, and to their credit, it really was a competitive game. But they just could not stop. They just could not stop the passing game, as they threw for 309. They gave up 319 passing yards, 319. And Brian Robinson, he had. Do you guys know he had 208 receiving yards? 208 receiving yards as one guy and 1 touchdown. He shredded Ellison's defense. But let's not act like Ellison didn't fight. They gave everything they had.
Hey, I heard Marlon Smith had a day, bro.
He did. He had 3 touchdowns. He had 2 passing, he had 2 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. He's doing everything he can to win these games. And the crazy part is he's only a sophomore, which means he has 2 more years after this to get better.
Over the past 2 weeks, I really became a Marlon Smith fan, man. He really battled and fought his tail off against Shoemaker.
Future Heisman, okay. Yes, this dude is a dog. Marlon Smith, if you hear this, you're a dog, bro. You're a dog.
Yeah, I
He
can't
definitely
I
is a
can't disagree
dog,
with
but
that.
I don't know about Heisman level, but he
yeah.
definitely has some things to grow on. But I'm definitely proud to see how well he's performing as a sophomore quarterback and stepping up into the moments against a good Red Oak team and trying to put them at least in a position to at least fight back.
And like you said, against a really good Red Oak team, it was at Red Oak, which meant he had to do this in a hostile environment. And the Ellison defense gave them plenty of chances. They even got 5 sacks. They even got an interception. I mean, they fought hard. I felt like personally Ellison should have ran the ball more. Did you guys know they only ran the ball 19 times? But
Really?
Yes. But guess what? They ran for 8.8 yards per carry. If they ran the ball more, I think they would have won this game.
Maybe you think it's because they were playing behind so fast, so they had to go through the air.
That is a very good point. But also I think the problem is maybe they were passing the ball too much, which led to a lot of non-scoring drives. But I do think their passing game is still great. I still think they're gonna be a great
Still
team.
have a great receiving core.
Especially
Ramirez,
Juan Ramirez.
Hall,
I wish he would. I wish
Keandre
sometimes
Sales.
maybe he
Sophomore
would get
Tyler Reed.
They got time.
They got depth. They're deep. They're deep, and it's gonna all come together.
Makes me sad to talk about this. Killeen versus number 3 Brenham.
Oh my gosh, they lost another nail biter.
Another nearby.
3 straight weeks of losing 1 possession games. They lost to Ellison.
And now Brenham.
Now Brenham.
Mind you, the halftime score was 13-19.
I was at that game.
It was
yeah.
what, 13-9? They were
13-9. Yeah, excuse me.
Killeen was beating them, and that's the sad part. Coach Sadler, he has these guys
Fighting their tails off
to win these games.
And mind you, they're on a 14-game losing streak now.
Killeen had 3 interceptions on defense. Their defense is for real, man.
This one would have felt good too for them. I mean,
Would have been a great win for the program.
Rankings in district, but ranking in state, Brenham is ranked number 7, or when they played, Brenham was ranked number 79. Killeen's ranked 460 in the state. There's only like 512 schools in
That's
Texas.
all divisions, right?
Yep, that's everything. So for them to beat a team that's ranked 300 teams ahead of them, I mean, that would have really felt good for them.
No, especially for the first win. You know that.
In a while,
And it sucks because their first game, it kind of didn't go as expected. But their last 3 games, I mean, versus Ellison, at Lake Belton, and then versus Brenham.
Yep.
Dude, 3 straight weeks. We could be talking about them being 3-1 right now.
Yep.
But
and
here
that's
we
their
are.
defense.
That's their
Their defense is physical.
Dude.
They're fighting. They're keeping them in the game. Not that their offense isn't
Their
good.
offense isn't good.
But
their
mind you
defense
guys, I
is
want
keeping
to
them in there.
bring this point up. D'Lo hasn't played a game yet.
You know what? I want to talk about that.
That-
That's
do you
interesting to
think-
me
do you
because
guys-
he's on the sideline. He's throwing balls around. He's practicing. He's
in
dressed
pads.
out. So I'm confused.
Do you guys think if they had D'Lo and these?
I definitely think they win that Ellison game if they have D'Lo.
I think you think they win Friday night game against Brenham?
Yes, I just think because D'Lo's he's a special kid, man. He has an arm, bro.
I think
they definitely would have been spread the ball around like they could last year.
And zero disrespect to Tavares Miles, who's their quarterback, but
Exactly.
he's not a quarterback. He's a receiver.
Yeah.
He's
playing a
stepping in his
receiver at
role
quarterback.
and trying
He's
giving
doing everything.
His all.
He's giving it his all. He's fighting, and credit to him. He's keeping them in these close games. You would think without a quarterback they'd be getting blown out, but he's keeping them in these games, and that's another thing. And also against Lake Belton, I think if they have D'Lo that game, I think they win. They lost 28-21.
Yeah, so that was 3 straight weeks.
That's
of
3 straight weeks
that's
of
heartbreaking,
that's heartbreaking.
And then I don't know if I don't want to speculate, so I'm not gonna say like he's hurt or whatever, and he's just dressing out for no reason. But even when Tavares Miles got hurt later on in that game for a little bit, they put another wide receiver in at quarterback. When D'Lo's on the sideline dressed out, throwing the ball around.
Do you think maybe he's like what you would consider an emergency QB? Like he's healthy enough to where if he has to play, he can play, but
maybe
they just want to keep him.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense too. They're gonna have him just in case, but they're gonna try everything they can.
Well, they have
not to put
another
him in.
good test, man, and this is another, I think, a winnable game for them that they can. They host Copper's Cove here on Friday at 7 o'clock, so it's another big test.
And another thing I want to talk about Killeen is their O-line did struggle a little bit. Did you know they allowed their quarterback to get sacked 5 times, and they had 13 tackles for loss.
And that's not just their O-line. That's good on Brenham's defensive line to be getting through there.
Credit to them. That's
wrapping
the
up the
reason why
quarterback.
That's the reason why they're 4-0.
Yeah.
And the difference in this game was early in the
They
game,
missed
They blocked the extra point and got returned for 2, and they end up losing 15-13.
That and you would think like, okay, it's nothing, but when you look at it, now you look at that final score, those 2 points clearly changed the game.
Yeah.
Yep. And then that last play for Brenham on offense, that touchdown,
20,
dude, it was like
caught it
4th
over
and
3
15,
people.
caught it over. I think it was 2-3 people, and it was. I don't know how he did that.
That was an amazing play.
I think that game and everything we just said in these last like 30 seconds sums up like why Killeen's 0-4, and it's so heartbreaking because it seems like everything's going their way, but then something always always goes wrong. It's like seems to me like maybe they're cursed, man.
Yeah, but I also real quick before we move on to Chaparral, I want to put a quick spotlight on Brenham's kicker. I've commentated on a good amount of games, and I haven't seen many kickers. I haven't seen any team kick a field goal, first off. And I haven't seen many kickers be able to kick a ball at the 5 and have it bounce in such a way that, like, it stays at the 5. I mean, that kicker was doing his thing out there.
That's
genuinely.
great,
and that can make the difference because there's a huge difference between starting your drive at the 20-yard line and starting at the 5.
Yeah.
And the amount of times Killeen had to start the drives at like the 5 or
he kept flipping
10.
the field. Yeah, that's huge.
And
Killeen was still in the game?
And he made a field goal.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Yep. But moving on. Chaparral.
Brandon, go ahead and take it away.
Go ahead. That's your team, Brandon. Go ahead.
Listen, guys. Chaparral, they just had a bye week. They got time to
They won by 100.
They just had a bye week, guys. I think it was a really good bye week. Unfortunately, the week before, unfortunately, they lost to Lampasas 13-12. But I think they got a bye week, and they will be traveling to Cedar Park this week.
That's a tough 6A team.
That's going to be a tough 6A team. I mean, they are 1-2. They did just come off of they just came off of bye week, but the week before they did have to play at Huntsville, and they had to win an overtime field 36-29. So I think there is some success Chaparral can have, and I think they will win this.
Hey man, this is their real test. Are they a legit state championship contender, bro?
I think they have the players. I think they're like Killeen, but the difference is disrespect to Killeen, they're not. I think they can make the plays when they need to. I'm not saying Killeen can't. I just think Chaparral can make the plays when they need to. They're not nothing. I don't think everything goes wrong for them.
Score prediction?
I'm gonna say Chaparral wins. I say they win 28-17.
Okay.
No. I'll say 28-21. I think it's one score game. That is a 6A, so I'm going to respect them. And it's at their stadium. So I'm going to say 28-21. I think Chaparral wins.
David, you got anything?
No, man.
Bryson Coleman 3 touchdown passes, by the way.
They just had a bye, preparation, and their start district after this week, too. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how they do in the district. And now Harker Heights versus Midlothian. 28-7, Harker Heights lost. Just 5 turnovers really shot them in the foot. But don't overreact, in my opinion. Harker Heights school and KISD fans. Coach Humble's going to have them right going into district. And they, wink, wink, they got the game of the week this week. Yeah,
David, I agree with everything you said. I wasn't at the game. Now, somebody else was at the game, Giovanni. But from what I've heard, this is exactly what you said. They weren't it seemed to me, from what I heard, they weren't disciplined. They were just lackadaisical. They were lollygagging. It just didn't seem right. And then Hudson turned the ball through 3 interceptions? 2 interceptions. He's
doing 5 in the past 2 weeks.
Man,
that's something I have never seen him do in his
But like David said, don't overreact, because you will hear later, they're still in my top 5 teams in the area. So I'm not going to overreact. They're still Heights, and they're still a well-coached team.
Yep. I'm going to go next. I'm going to just give y'all kind of the good, the bad, the ugly of both teams, right? For Harker Heights, I really want to talk about, for the most part, other than that pick, Humble's accuracy, especially on those corner throws. It's over the corner, behind the safety. It's a perfect throw, and I've seen that like a good amount of times, and it's beautiful to watch. It really is. Christian Nobles, breaking through 2 tackles to score a touchdown as a receiver.
He had a day.
Yep.
Didn't he had 7 catches, 135 yards in that touchdown you just said.
Christian Nobles was going crazy. Arshawn Span, he had a couple drops, but he got a couple plays in there as well. But their defense, man.
Yeah.
Their defense got worn out, man. Bo Wendell was just running over them, and
they gave. Sorry, Giovanni.
No, you're good.
Cut you off. They gave up 249 yards on the ground. feel like that wear and tear really start to hit him towards the fourth quarter.
Not the recipe for success. And then obviously the interception that Humble threw. I'm going to give him a pass on the second one, but I'm going to talk about the first one real quick.
Isn't that the one he tried to, that post route?
He like forced it over.
I see his vision, but mind you guys, Harker Heights still played their tails off in this game. They kept fighting and battling.
Never gonna quit.
Their main guy, Ryan Taylor, had 10 catches or 143 yards. So there was good in this game. There definitely was. But Harker Heights just had those 5 turnovers that really cost them.
Yeah, and then especially like as far as the ugly goes, the fumbles off of the snap. Got to get that connection between the center and the quarterback, because that was 2 turnovers that they gave him the ball at like the 20-yard line of their half. And you can't do that.
And they converted. Wow.
Yep. You can't do that. And then on Midlothian, Bo Wendell. I mean, that guy's like Bryson Daly out on the field. Like, he's running over everybody. He did really good. As far as for being a quarterback, had a couple of good throws too, over the middle. On Midlothian's defensive side, you cannot, even though they won the game in the future, you cannot be allowing 300 plus passing yards.
It wasn't 300. Check Master Props today. Hudson threw for 407 yards.
So even worse than, you cannot allow 300 or 400 plus yards. I mean, it's just not a recipe for success in the future. They won this game, but can't be laying the half.
That's a top 5A team.
Yep.
But let's get hinted to the game of the week. The game of the week this week is Harker Heights at Midway, starting 6A's district.
I think it's going to be a really great game. I mean, Midway's 4-0, if I'm not mistaken.
And they have a 4-star running back that has offers from here to all the way to Canada. Has offers from everywhere.
Wow. That is, that ain't even in the United States, and he got an offer.
I'm just saying like that's
big. That's different.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going on with it.
Yeah, that's the game of the week.
This game is gonna be very great. I think it's gonna be a highly competitive game, and I mean, if we're gonna do predictions, if we want to have predictions, I'm gonna take Heights. I still believe in them. I think they can win a close game. I say they win 31. I say they win like 35-21. I think they make a statement.
Bounce back off those 2 losses. I definitely think that they're going to face adversity a lot in this game. Once again, this is why not the district schedule really helped them prepare for a game like this. I'm also going to take Harker Heights. I'm going to take them 34-31 with Oakley Goins making the game-winning field goal.
Oh, I remember Oakley Goins, one of the best kickers of all time.
I don't know if Oakley Goins is going to make a game-winning field goal. I mean, he missed 2 last week, but
he'll bounce back.
But yeah,
how far were they?
About 30. No, probably 40 yards. I'll give him 40 yards.
Hey, in high school, that's still tough.
Yeah,
that's tough.
I've seen him hit a 50-yard
what
one
I'll say is
in
this,
high school in a game.
From where I was standing, it looked a little suspicious. I don't know. I feel like it could have been good from where I saw it. But, you know, being a ref is a tough job. Yeah. And that's going to wrap it up for another episode of the Mind 95.1 Sports Zone, the podcast for students by students. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode.